My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Additionally, it's time for the return of the referral code. If you're new here and you're just getting into the game, you've got to make an account on the Universe's gaming network. When you're signing up, you can use my exclusive referral code Alliteration to let Jasco know that I brought you on board, which directly supports me and my work. Having an account on the UGN site is going to allow you to sign up for tournaments, participate in events, locate stores that support the game near you, and much more. Playing in events and or mailing in pack wrappers is actually going to accrue loyalty points onto your account, which you'll then be able to redeem for exclusive promo cards in the mail for absolutely free. An account on here is an integral part of playing this game, so make sure you sign up and you use my code Alliteration to help me continue doing what I love. I would really appreciate the support. You guys absolutely killed it on the last one with all of the signups, and I am really excited to run it back with you all. Now, let's get on to the video. Good evening, my dear viewers, and welcome to another Alliteration Gaming video. My name's Levi, and it's time to shine that spotlight on another character in the MHA CCG. This one's gonna be brought to you by Thomas Redman over on the Patreon, so you know what time it finally is. Shocking no one, it is time to take a deep dive into the stun gun hero of Class 1A, Kaminari Denki. Denki is a 7 hand size character with 20 health and the air, chaos, and order symbols. He's got a very handy enhance that's going to let you pinpoint and target commit any of your rival's foundations if they try and stop your attacks, as long as the attack has the charge attribute or a stun ability. Target committal is one of the strongest ways to interact with your rival's board, as it prevents them from using any abilities that will hinder your game plan and slowly take away their resources to block at the same time. This is very fitting of his point and shoot electricity aspect of his quirk, especially since the keyword ability in this game that commits foundations is called stun. But that's hardly where Denki's power and his flavor ends. If you want to figure out how to end a game, look no further than Kaminari's once per game ability. A response that when your charge attack connects with your rival, you can take every single card in your card pool and shove them all into your momentum. This is a massive blowout ability, immediately granting you a heaping amount of momentum to use as charges for your big finishing moves, while simultaneously clearing your progressive difficulty so you can play said massive moves. Very true to his symbols, Denki is all about clearing his card pool, committing your rival's options down, and just generating a ton of momentum. The only thing to watch out for is your timing. You're only going to be able to use his response if you hit, so make sure the attack that you send on the end of your string is something that the rival cannot stop. Moreover, because of how powerful an ability this is, you only get to use it once per game. Afterwards, you're going to be a bit of a burnt out battery. With Denki Kaminari, you're going to be able to stun down and pinpoint every problematic piece of your rival's stage, set up a current of charge attacks, and then absorb every single one of them for energy to unleash in one fell swoop. But guys, for a charge or stun attack to be blocked, we're going to need plenty of charge and stun attacks. Thankfully, Denki houses both air and chaos, the two most prominent symbols for the charge keyword. The charge package in this game is infamous for some of the easiest, cleanest, and most efficient string capabilities out there. It is so easy to play attack after attack with help from things like specialized sound waves and double jab pummel. Attacks like these are going to make it so easy to string out your chains of moves, and the more attacks you play leading up to your once per game, the more momentum you get to secure when you pop it. This means that the check bonuses and stacking that the charges grant you are going to pad out your strings very comfortably as you move throughout your attack turn. And then once you get to the end of them, you can send in charge attacks like Electric Jolt, Tape Swing, or Zero Gravity Lift that all have unstoppable damage, so you get that guaranteed use of your once per game. These moves are going to make sure you can enable Denki's response at the most opportune moment that you desire without ever having to worry about your rival blocking you and putting a full stop to your game plan. Now, these cheap, efficient strings sound fine and dandy for leading up to our once per game and stocking up a ton of momentum, but what about after? Let's talk bombs. Getting to clear your entire card pool to continue playing attacks is so fantastic, but it's only a portion of Denki's power. The other huge benefit of our response is that every card it sends away goes right into our momentum, and that's what really enables us to do some crazy things. In the event that your rival was foolish enough to block all of your previous attacks and let you commit their whole board down, the almighty 1.3 million volts is going to end games before your rival can even figure out if they hail a low block or not. As iconic as 1.3 is for ending lives though, Kaminari has access to a flurry of attacks that reach nuclear levels of power once you're packing so much momentum. Blitz Rush is the signature bomb here, as Kaminari's ultra rare with its incredibly high base damage and limitless potential for even more. Slashing Whirlwind is another premium example. Being able to shoot to 14 damage with just 2 momentum, it is almost too easy to get one shot by these moves. You could also send that momentum into Decaying Palm Slam for even more pressure on your rival's board, or into something like Double Trouble for a series of echo attacks. Speaking of doing other things with our momentum, Kaminari has access to some very cool cards across his symbols with abilities that activate from the momentum. The drawback of the strength of cards like these are that normally you have to hit with them and then wait until your next turn to gain their benefits from the momentum. That's where even more hidden power of Kaminari's response comes in, because it means we get to access to those cards right away. Whether it be the extra momentum from Electric Surges, picking up Meteor Showers to play them over and over, or the difficulty reduction from Amplified Sound Blast, Kaminari can really put cards like these to work. Just be a little wary about putting so many flash attacks in your deck, such as Sound Blast or Specialized Sound Waves as we saw earlier, as it means that we cannot use our Kaminari Enhance on them. On top of that, Kaminari's power lets us also unlock the conditions of cards that want to see things leave the card pool. He can make great use of his best buddy Bakugo's Fury-based attacks with things like Stun Grenades, Stun Rating Increase, or even the card pool stuff from Razor Deluge once your pool gets cleared out. Now, with how important it sounds like getting momentum is, it only makes sense that our stage helps us charge up too, right? Enter Kaminari's favorite foundations. The Chaos symbol is the king of momentum generation, and it really shows when we take a look at all of the options we have to empower our Denki decks in that regard. Rockin' Attitude and Charged Up are part of a few cards that can trade themselves for momentum, these two being some of the best due to their ability to choose what you want going in there. Being able to block with or tutor out some of your attacks that have abilities inside the momentum to instantly get online, like Electric Jolt and Zero Gravity Lift, to both protect you or enable your next attack turn is such a strong utility. Meanwhile, if you're just looking to increase your raw momentum numbers, cards like Carpool to Work and Wealthy Aspirations are extremely cost-efficient ways of just getting more and more free charges. Now, just as Kaminari brings the most out of his momentum through his attacks, he can do the same thing with the cards in his stage. Momentum is absolutely a resource, but it's got so many uses past things like EX are powerful. You can utilize it to make playing your cards that much easier through your expensive strings by readying your foundations with successful results or requesting assistance. Or you can use it to buff your checks out with something like Cool Student. Being able to ready up your stage and get double duty out of lots of your cards is incredibly valuable when you're trying to play those long strings that Kaminari's once per game turns really necessitate. You can also spin your momentum through things like the very aggressive Expanding Capacity stat bonuses, or obtain even more pinpoint target committal with Shock Treatment. And for those once per game turns that don't go quite as planned, you can fall back on all of your new momentum to defend you with defensive tricks like Decoy Duplicate or Convenient Timing. If need be, you can even use Cool Student to increase the check bonuses on your blocks. Now, one of the most apparent things about a character like Kaminari is that he's all in. When you're committing to your once per game turn, you are putting everything on the line. You only get one chance to use up all your electricity, so you gotta make sure that it counts. Once per game is only a true condition if you don't win on the turn you use it. So to go in line with this strategy, let's look at a ton of cards that help support that style of play. Some of the most important cards you can get your hands on here are the ones that weaponize your extra resources. Self-Sacrifice and Feelin' Cute can both take cards you've already committed to past checks and just turn them into even more stats. Meanwhile, a card like One with Nature can do the exact same thing with the excess cards in your hand. Normally, these would be foundations that you would miss going into your future turns and cards in hand that you'd miss when it comes to blocking your rival's attacks, but neither of those are windows that we're planning on seeing once we've decided to plunge deep into our lethal once per game turn. Additionally, cards like Latent Skill and Scout in the Forest on the air symbol are fantastic for just digging through your deck even more to try and find those last attacks you need to close out the game. And if you want even more committal of the rival's board, the Order symbol has your back. Cards like League Invitation and Influencing the Youth in tandem with Denki can make sure that there is not a single foundation on your rival's board disrupting you and hindering your perfect plan for victory. Now when it comes to that plan, we should be sure to include some key assets as well. Air has two incredible options here in that of the Sports Festival Stadium and the Earphone Jack. These two in tandem can both provide extra speed and damage to all your attacks, as well as clear away those pesky defensive on-block responses and ready up cards in your stage. Stadium is also super useful for stopping things like Faith Shield, messing with electric jolts or grav lifts that you really were relying on to activate your once per game. These are both very valuable abilities when we're trying to flow throughout our attack strings. Order can utilize something like the USJ to pump even more stats aggressively, while Chaos has access to the Battle Arena to steal some even more momentum as well as buff out our checks across those long strings. And of course, with all that momentum we're getting, any extra charges love being used up by training weights across all of our symbols. Actions can play a big part in our Denki decks as well. Flex Your Might is an insanely cool way to find even more cards, as well as give your rival a very nasty ultimatum that whether they block or take your attacks, a foundation of theirs is getting committed. Evil versus Good is also a nice way to help your strings flow and pump some excess stats, as well as alongside Flex Your Might are both actions that stay in the card pool. Normally that can be a drawback, but in Denki it means that when we once per game, we just get even more cards to absorb for energy. Engine Trouble is another nice include for even more target commit pressure, and of course Ready Set Go is always nice in 7 hand size characters. That's going to conclude our showcase today on Kaminari Denki. Big thanks again to Thomas Redmond for commissioning this video, and if you enjoyed and or even learned anything from it, I would really appreciate some feedback down there via the like button and the comment section as well. And if you want to see some more quality content like this, the subscribe button is what you want to hit. And if that doesn't quite do it for you, you can even hit the join button to support the channel even further and gain access to some exclusive perks like badges and emotes when I stream on YouTube. And if that doesn't quite do it for you, I'm also going to have the Patreon link down there below in the pinned comment and the description so that you can commission your own character spotlight like this of your choice, or you can check out any of the other video commission tiers I have so that you can have impact on the type of content I make and permanently cement yourself as part of the channel. As always though, I appreciate you just making it all the way to the end of this video, and I hope I can see you in the next one.